yes, the first card you have in your past is the Seven of Pentacles. Yes, I'm just seeing that there were some steps that you took or some work that you did to get you into a certain place or a certain position or something like that. And you were there, or you're almost there. It was like you're almost to the end, or you might have just gotten to the end or something like that. But you were feeling a bit dissatisfied when you got to the end, not quite right. It was like, you thought you'd be feeling a lot more content by the time you got to this point, but you weren't. It's like, you weren't feeling bad, but it's like you were imagining celebrating when you got to this place, when you got here. You were like, oh, when I finally get here, I've worked so hard. When I finally get here, I'm going to be so happy. I'm going to be so relieved. And you just didn't feel like that. You weren't feeling like that. You just needed to rethink, I think, where you wanted to be, because you were thinking, well, maybe this isn't where I really wanted to be after all this time and all this effort I put in. But you will find out what was behind this feeling. You will do this. And, you're just feeling a bit flat at this time. And it could be that you might decide that this is what you wanted to do. You're just feeling a little bit, flat when you got to the end of all this effort. Or it could be that you do want to do something else. But whatever happens, I'm seeing that you are going to find out what, you're not going to feel like this forever. You're going to settle down out of this, I'm seeing. The next card you have, your past, is the Hanged Man. So yes, you came to a stop. You just needed to step back and maybe rethink whether this thing that you worked so hard on, and you really, really so wanted in the beginning, you so wanted this thing, and you had to just reassess whether that was what you truly wanted to do. That's what I'm seeing. So, this could be about some kind of learning or some kind of study or something like that. Or you could have had to learn a lot to get there. There was some learning involved in this. And I'm still seeing this disappointment coming from feeling that, you put a lot of effort in and then you weren't feeling the way you expected when you finished. That's what I'm seeing. But I'm seeing that you will resolve this at some time. You might have to go through some problems first, but you will resolve this eventually, I'm seeing. The next card you have for your past is the Two of Pentacles. So yes, again, instability, this uncertainty, and you had a lot of things whizzing around in your head. You were thinking, oh, am I right to be doing this? Should I be doing something else? This, that, you're juggling all these things, wondering about, what you should be doing. And, you knew you had a choice. You knew you had a choice to make, and you were unclear of which choice you wanted to make. And you weren't sure what the options should even be at this time. You just didn't know if, any of these options were right. I'm still, if you're still going through this indecision, if you're still going through this, I know this is in the past, but if you are still going through this, if this resonates with you, just try to take some time out from this for a while. Just try and take some time out of this in your head, do something completely different, just to get your mind off this. Because I'm just thinking, when people go and see therapists, it's easier for the therapist to see what the person needs to do because they're outside of the situation. So you need to get outside of the situation in your head, go somewhere completely different, do something completely different you haven't done before, or just go outside and do something else until you feel a bit clearer, and then you can come back and sort this out. That's what I'm seeing. So the first card you have in your present is the Ace of Pentacles. Yes, I love this card. I'm glad you have this card. You really, really, really actually need this card because you've had so much turmoil going on. And you are going to be able to make this decision, definitely. You're going to be able to make this decision. It's going to come a lot easier to you now, this choice. It's going to come a lot easier to you now because you're going to be feeling a lot more stable and, a lot safer in yourself, if that makes sense. And you're going to be led to the right direction. It's not like you're going to kind of come up with all these ideas and then you're going to do it yourself. You're just going to be led there. It's like this beautiful hand. If you look at this card, this beautiful hand's coming out of the clouds and it's gently leading you in the right direction. And it's giving you this beautiful stability that you need as well. And I'm also seeing that for single people who are looking for a relationship, yes, you're looking back on a past relationship. That's what I'm seeing here. And you're using this, whatever happened in the past, as some sort of guide for what you want to avoid in the future and what you're looking for. And, you could have been really feeling really unstable in a past relationship, because I'm seeing some instability leading to stability in all these different situations. So, yes, there was an unreliable person you were dealing with. But I'm seeing now, because you're looking back on this and you're thinking about the situation you're in, you're just not going to accept any less than a stable person in your future. You're only going to accept the stability and the love and, this greatness, someone you can rely on. That's the only thing you're going to accept. You're not going to accept any less in your future. You're not going to accept any less from anyone coming into your future. I know I'm repeating myself, but I just keep on seeing this really strongly. That's what this is showing me. And, also I'm seeing that you could have maybe relied a bit too much on this ex for your happiness, because you didn't have this stability inside yourself. And what this is telling you is that you need to be strong. Be strong in yourself. Yeah, be really strong in yourself. That's what I'm seeing. And yes, that's why you're so upset. That was why you were so upset when you separated, because you weren't strong in yourself. You were expecting somebody else to give you that strength. That's what I'm seeing, and they couldn't do that. So you need to be strong in yourself, and you're going to be strong in yourself when you look for this new person, when you look for this new relationship. So I'm seeing you're determined to keep your own identity as well. You're not going to lean on someone. They're not going to be your other half. You're going to be a full person. They're going to be a full person, and you're going to be a strong, stable person. And they are too, because that's what you're looking for. Okay, now I'm making sense. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to articulate what I'm seeing. Sometimes I'm not clear, and then I have to try and really... I see so much sometimes, and sometimes I'm not very clear, and then I have to make that clear to you. I'm sorry about that. I hope that makes sense. If not, comment and I'll explain that to you. The next card you have here present is the Eight of Swords. Yes, you are a lot stronger. You are more determined. You're not going to repeat these things that you went through in your past. But I'm seeing that because you're thinking of these things, because you're thinking of what happened in your past, you're still carrying a little bit of hurt from that, and this hurt has come back while you're thinking about it. So what I'm seeing is, it's not that you want this person back. It's not that you miss them. It's not that you still haven't gotten over them. I'm seeing that you are actually over this person, but it's just like because you're going through all these things in your head, and memories pop back into your head, and you think about them, and then you remember the hurt, and you're having that memory of that hurt. That's what I'm seeing is happening to you at this time. But it doesn't mean you're not over them. It doesn't mean you want them back. So don't worry, don't think to yourself, oh, aren't I over this person? Why am I feeling sad over them again? It's okay, you are over them. You're just having a memory of them. It's like when you remember some teacher at school said something to you. You don't miss the teacher at school. You don't want them back. You're just having a memory of them. And it makes you feel a certain way, the way that you felt at that time. And that's what's happening. That's why you're feeling a little bit down again. You're remembering how trapped you were, remembering how bad it felt when you went through all those problems. That's what I'm seeing. But you're completely over this person. So the last card you have for your present is the Eight of Wands. So yes, these ideas, everything, all these ideas you have that you need to find, get to the bottom of in the Two of Pentacles, you'll get to the bottom of them very, very easily now. Everything will fall into place, and you'll be able to move forward, and things will start happening to you a lot quicker. You'll come to your decisions, you'll come to a conclusion really quickly, and it will just happen. Everything will just fall into place. If you look at these ones, they're all lined up, they're all aligned perfectly, they're parallel, they're perfectly lined up, they're flying through the sky, ready to do, they're ready for you. They're all lined up. Everything's lined up in place. And it's like when you're all confused and you're doing something like you're organizing a party or something, and someone's organizing the drink, someone's organizing the music, someone's organizing the venue, someone's organizing something else. And at the time you think, oh, has that person called me back? Do they know what they're doing? Have they ordered the right this? Have they done that? What are they ordering? Are they ordering, have they got the right band coming in, or have they got some crazy, I don't know, some crazy band or something, some stupid thing? Have they got all the right things? Is it all going to work? And then on the day it all just falls into place and everything works perfectly. That's what's going to happen to you. That's what's going to happen with you. It's going to fall into place. You're going to know exactly what you want to do. You'll have the stability of the Ace of Pentacles, And then you'll have everything happening really fast, lining up for you in the Eight of Wands. That's what I'm seeing there. So for your future, the first card you have is the King of Cups. Yes. Yes. You're going to have a lot of patience with someone. That's what I'm seeing. There's something going on in the workplace. There's someone in the workplace, or there's going to be in your future. You probably know who this already is. That's why I'm saying there is someone. But this is a very difficult person. And yes, I'm sorry to say this, but you could be working closely with this person that you don't particularly like in the workplace. I'm sorry about that. You've had some struggles with this person, I'm seeing. They're very difficult to read. They're very difficult to see what they're thinking, what's going on with them. And what I mean is they seem to be one way to your face, actually, but another way when you're not there. So it's like they're two-faced. But the way they act is actually quite subtle. So if somebody came in from the outside and looked at this person, they wouldn't say, oh, what a sly person. Why are they like that? No, they'd say, oh, what a lovely person. They have such a nice smile. And you'd be behind them thinking, making faces behind them, thinking, that's not what they're like. That's not what they're like at all. But to the outside world, they seem to be really nice and everything. But, you're going to have to work with this person. And, you could never point to them and say you've done this thing wrong, because it's so subtle, it's so hard to point out. So they're very, very sly in that way, this person. I'm sorry you have to deal with this person, but yeah, so you're going to be forced to work closely with them on something. I'm sorry, because I'm seeing you kind of clashing heads with them, really, but you can't. It's awkward. It's not like you're yelling at them or you're fighting. It's just this awkwardness, this difficulty with this person. And yes, you're going to keep on feeling this, I'm sorry, this kind of low-level tension with this person. You're going to handle it really well. You're going to be able to handle everything diplomatically. There's not going to be a big fight. There's not going to be a big problem. But you are going to feel difficult with this person. They're not going to turn into your best friend. I don't think they ever will turn into your best friend. But you will get through this. That's all I can say. I'm sorry. I wish I could say a lot better than that, but I can't. That's what I'm seeing. The next card you have in your future is the Fool, which is one of my favorite cards. I love the Fool. And I'm actually seeing that, yes, you've had a lot of conventional things like work, maybe study, problems around these things. And, you've had all of this strain with all these things, this work person and all these conventional, boring things going on that aren't very nice. And you could be breaking out of this a bit. In your head even, you're going to try and do what, you've been doing what you're supposed to do for so long that you're going to try and break out of this. You're not going to be conventional. And I'm seeing there's someone who's actually not around you. They were around you, but they're not going to be around you at this time. But you've known this person before in the past. They're not physically around you at this time. And they used to be close to you. And they have some sort of unconventional way of looking at the world and looking at things. They might be an artist or a musician or maybe even a reader or something, but they don't do things in the way that the usual world operates. They're a little bit outside of that. And they might inspire you, actually. They might inspire you to take a new course. So I'm not saying you're going to change your life and become, a musician or a dancer or something like that, if that's not what you do. But you're going to have a whole new outlook. You're going to really be inspired to think of things in new ways and really break out of your old ways. So you might come into contact with this person again and have a talk with them about all sorts of different things. And you might be inspired. So you might be taking up a new hobby, or you might be doing something different, or just experiencing something completely new to get you out of your day-to-day. That's what I'm seeing. And it's really good. You'll feel a lot lighter and a lot happier when you've done this, when you've gotten out of all these things. So the last card you have for your future is the Seven of Wands. Yes, you're going to be standing your ground against this person in the King of Cups. But I'm seeing you doing this very, very carefully. This person's very difficult. I'm still seeing this. This person is very difficult to deal with. They're difficult to catch out. But I'm seeing actually somebody else could be coming in. Someone else could be coming in to do some work on this project that you're working with them with. So there could be a third person coming in on this. And this will really change the dynamic I'm seeing, because if this third person comes in, I'm seeing that they will, it will ease your tension. you'll feel a lot better having someone else, not just them, to deal with. And they won't get away with as much as they thought they could, because they'll have a third person watching what they're doing. That's what I'm seeing. So that will ease a lot of the tension with this situation. You will get through this situation in the workplace with this person. That's what I'm seeing.